Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about 11 travel safety tips that could save your life. It's so important that you stay safe overseas. So let's get started. My first tip is to get to your destination during the day when it's still sunlight out. Try to avoid arriving at your destination at night. When you arrive at your destination during the day, you're able to scope out landmarks, you're feeling more comfortable to explore, you can check out your surroundings. Whereas you come at night, it's harder to do that. In my opinion, more good things happen during the day than at night. My second travel safety tip is that you do not have to share if you do not feel comfortable. So when you're on your trip, sometimes you're going to meet people who are a little bit too friendly. You want to know every single detail about your life. And when you meet people, you have to use discernment. Some things you shouldn't be telling people, like if you're traveling alone, for example, I wouldn't disclose that. Or they want to know your name, your full name, where you're from. Like they want to get really specific. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to share if you don't feel like it. Your number one job when you're overseas, especially if you're traveling solo, is to protect yourself. And so you allow what information you want to share. You can make up some information if you want, if that keeps you safe. And if the person keeps asking you questions and you feel uncomfortable, feel free to tell them to get lost or remove yourself from the situation. My third tip is to trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, listen to your intuition because it probably isn't right. Feel free to ask for help, remove yourself from the situation, but always trust your gut. And go somewhere where you feel safe. My next tip is to keep your family and friends updated. Now, I don't mean like talking to them on the phone 24/7 while you're away exploring, but it is a good idea to share your itinerary with somebody that you trust and love back home. Also, it's a good idea to probably keep your family and friends in the loop just with a quick text. Hey, I'm going out, I'll be back later. Or hey, I'm going to this place. Just in case if something unfortunate does happen, they know like where you've been, they'll have a track record. Don't completely disappear. My fifth tip is that when the sun goes down, you go in. So whenever the sun goes down and I am traveling solo, I tend to go back to my hotel, my hostel, wherever I'm staying, because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm by myself, it's dark. You can always explore the next day. However, if you are with a group of people, you might be able to stay out a bit longer, but typically my rule is when the sun goes down, I go in. My sixth tip is do not put your life in danger over a few dollars. Sometimes you'll be like, oh yeah, I can save a few dollars and I'll walk. And you're in some area, you don't know where you're going, you don't know where you're walking to. Even though the GPS says you can be there in 10 minutes, if the area is especially sketchy, for example, taxi or whatever the rideshare app is in that country, if it's deemed safe, be sure to take that rather than, oh yeah, I can save a few dollars, let me walk. My seventh tip is to get advice from the locals. Not only do the locals know where are the best places to go to eat and have fun, they also know the places to avoid. Be sure to take their advice seriously because they know their country, they know their home. You can find locals if you are traveling solo. You can find locals at your hostel, your hotel, at a restaurant. They should be able to give you some insight of where to avoid and the things you need to do to keep safe. My eighth tip is to look after your drinks. If you have a drink and you put it down, do not go back after that drink. Just buy another one, because the moment you look and you turn your head, somebody can slip something in your drink that can lead to date rape or other awful consequences. So be sure to look after your drink. Just buy a new one. Don't go back to that one. My ninth tip is to know your local police numbers, know your local emergency numbers. And so you should have programmed in your phone the local emergency numbers and the closest embassy or U.S. consulate to you. And you should also register for the U.S. State Department Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. This program allows U.S. citizens to receive information from the embassy about conditions in their host country. This program also allows the embassy to contact you in case of an emergency and lets your family and friends get in touch with you in case there is an emergency. So be sure to enroll in STEP before you even begin your trip. My next tip is to check the State Department's travel advisories. And this is probably one of the first things that you should do before you even start planning on considering going to your destination. On the State Department's travel advisory list, they will either say that you should exercise normal precautions, exercise increased precautions, reconsider travel, or do not travel at all. So be sure to check out the State Department's travel advisories list before you start planning your trip. And my last tip is to be sure to carry a lock or rent a lock. So you want to, when you leave your hotel room or your hostel, be sure to lock up all your stuff. And in this, when you leave your hostel room or when you leave your hotel or hostel room, be sure to lock up all your stuff, including your passport. If you thought this was helpful, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell me something that you do to keep safe overseas in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys. And be sure to visit my blog, HeyMissTraveler.com. I have written tons of information specifically for you. Until next time, bye-bye.